evening.
Good, how are you, Patricia? Before we start, can you just ask the operator to when you're ready? We haven't heard that that he's gonna be out.
Ready?
Yes, I am. Sure. Will you all stand?
Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started with our meeting. If you would rise, Commissioner Shaw Williams going to lead us in our pledge.
Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can the operator open up all lines for us? Our meeting has begun. Can the operator open up our lines? Madam Secretary, can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Patrick,
Present.
Commissioner Rice,
Here.
Commissioner Trejo, Commissioner Shaw Williams,
Here.
Chairman Springs,
Here. Did you forget someone? Oh, she said it. Oh, I didn't. Is there any communications from staff?
Yes, Chairman, we have received 3 items of communication regarding item 5C. There are 3 letters of support from Inglewood Today, Dominic Antonini, and Yvonne Morris.
This time, we would like to open up the meeting for anyone wishing to address the Planning Commission on any items on the agenda that's not a public hearing, may do so at this time. Operator, you can open up our lines.
Your line is now muted.
And to add a comment, please press #2 on your telephone keypad. Again, to add a comment during this section, press #2 on your telephone keypad. no comments at this time.
Thank you.
You.
We're going to close this segment. Are we approving minutes, Madam Secretary? No, we're not.
No minutes today.
Okay, Madam Secretary, our first.
Item 5A, a public hearing to consider an application by Negi Bakhum representing B&H Tow for special use permit number 2020-008, SP 20008, to allow towing service on an approximately 34,353 square foot CS Commercial Service Zone property at 10201 Hawthorne Boulevard.
Chairman Springs and Commission, the file is present and notice has been given in the form and manner as required by law. Staff received no correspondence from the public on this item, and Assistant Planner Marissa Fuel is present to do a short staff presentation.
Good evening, Chairman Springs and members of the Commission. In October 2019, the Planning Commission approved Zoning Code Amendment 2019001 to allow towing service with ancillary vehicle storage and ancillary vehicle inspection in the CS zone. In November 2019, the City Council approved an ordinance allowing towing service within the CS zone, subject to SUP approval and development requirements. The subject site for this SUP request is located at 10201 Hawthorne Boulevard and has an industrial general plan designation with commercial service zoning. The approximately 34,300 square foot site is located on the southwest corner of Hawthorne Boulevard and 102nd Street. The site includes a surface parking lot and 2 detached commercial buildings that were built in 1950. Previous uses at the site include used car sales and auto repair and servicing. The site is currently owned and occupied by the applicant. The proposed towing service business will provide towing services throughout the city. Once a vehicle is towed, it will be taken to this location and held until claimed by the owner. Customers will enter the site by a pedestrian gate on Hawthorne Boulevard and will be assisted within the reception area of the building. The building also includes office space, storage rooms, and a break room for employees. Proposed hours for the tow truck operation is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Proposed hours for the on-site office will be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. If a customer needs to claim their vehicle after hours, they would call a phone number posted at the site and a driver would meet them to process their release. The applicant has indicated that they average 1 after-hour vehicle release per week. If the Planning Commission approves the request, the applicant will be required to complete the site plan review process for parking lot site improvements, including landscaping, fencing, and wall modifications to meet all development requirements. One existing driveway to the site will remain, providing vehicle and tow truck access from 102nd Street. The applicant will be required to provide a minimum of 21 parking spaces to comply with all IMC parking requirements. And all parking lot improvements will be reviewed during site plan review. The subject site currently has 4 security cameras located inside the existing buildings and 8 security cameras monitoring the parking and storage area. Cameras are monitored in real time and will be shared with the Inglewood Police Department upon request. Landscaping for the site will be enhanced along the street frontages adjacent to the public right-of-way. The applicant is proposing a 3-foot wide landscape buffer along the perimeter with 11 evenly spaced Modesto ash trees with myrtle and rosemary shrubs. All landscaping will be reviewed during site plan review. No public comments in favor or against this project have been received. The proposed project is consistent with the industrial land use designation and is exempt from further environmental review. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available to answer any questions you might have. The applicant and the representative is also on the line tonight to answer any questions for you. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to open up any questions, starting with Commissioner Patrick.
Yes. Is this the same B&H towing that was at one point on the northwest corner of Florence and La Brea,
Yes, it's the same company.
and they moved?
Yes.
Okay. I will reserve my other questions for the applicant. Thank you.
Commissioner Rice.
When you verify the lot size and the distance between tow companies, because there's a restriction that it can't be within 1,000 feet of another towing company, how do you verify that? You physically go to the site or a map?
I used a map.
Because they barely made it within 250 feet.
Yes.
And when I went out and measured it, it was substantially different. So just wanted to find out if there's a way that we can actually go out and measure, because the maps, sometimes they can be off. There's no point for the map to be totally accurate. And when it gets that close to the margin of violating the code, I think we should go out and measure. Okay, no other questions.
Commissioner Trill.
Yes, I have a similar question as far as the.
Your mic on. Is that-
Yes, I have a similar question as far as the B&H towing, the one over on Florence. Did they move, or is this the second operation?
I'm not for certain. I think that would be best for the applicant.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Shaw Williams.
I'll reserve my questions for the applicant.
Okay. Thank you, Melissa. If the applicant is here, give us your name and tell us why we should approve your particular project.
Your line is now muted.
Please go ahead.
My name is Nagy Bakum. I'm with Obelisk Architects, 3800 Pacific Coast Highway in Torrance, California, 90505. I'm representing B&H Tow. Also online are the owners of the tow service. If there are specific function questions or questions I'm not able to answer, they're available to answer those questions as well. We are proposing a new tow service on this 3/4 acre site on Hawthorne Boulevard. We have read and understand the staff report. We've looked at the background information specifically, which outlines 7 items, one of which you just brought up, which is tow businesses that are within 1,000 feet. Our understanding is that there is another tow license, but it's not specifically for a tow service. It really is for a repair shop / a used car lot that's approximately 1,250 feet away. I'm sure we can verify that distance with staff. It's not behaving like our specific business, which is specifically a tow business. We did look at all of the other items, 7 items that were outlined with respect to background. We do exceed a 30,000 square foot lot. We will have an office that is will call 24 hours, but we primarily work during business hours. We would have an open and accessible 8 to 5. We will improve our parking lot. We will park all vehicles on site. We do have storage, which is enclosed, and we do have a vehicle bay in the secondary building, which is located in the northwest corner of the property. And there is no plan of storing oversized vehicles. So when looking at the background, there are 7 items there, A through G. We've looked at them individually and determined that our proposed tow business complies with all 7 of those items. We also know that based on this location, the street can support the trip traffic of towing vehicles to the property, in and out, and so on, and do it safely, whereby making it a very ideal location for this type of business. We understand that a site plan review is required, and we will work with staff to meet or even exceed the requirements of planning, public works, and the LA County Fire Department. We understand that we need to provide, and we will provide, a parcel map that merges the 12 individual lots into one lot, and we will develop a parking plan that shows 21 parking spaces as required by us to do so. As they mentioned, as staff mentioned, there are currently security cameras, and we'll maintain at least 12 security cameras. We're also proposing new landscape, and we will work with staff to make sure that we meet their guidelines in that respect as well. We agree with staff that the proposed project is consistent with the industrial land use designation of the general plan, and we understand and agree to the outlined conditions of approval. Only one item, as a side note, needs to be added with respect to our input. The address as outlined in the report is 10201 Hawthorne Boulevard, but also an available address, and that is sometimes used for this parcel, is 10219 Hawthorne Boulevard, and if that's acceptable, we would also like the opportunity to use that address if that is an option. Thank you for your time, and we seek your approval this evening.
Okay, sir.
Your line is now unmuted.
Okay, do we have any questions from the commissioners? We're going to start with Commissioner Patrick.
Good evening, Mr. Baccoon. I have visited your B&H towing when you were on Florence and La Brea, and I referred many people, and they were very, very happy with your work. But one day we went and it was not there anymore. We visited you with a car that should have been repaired after an accident. Why the sudden move, may I ask?
My understanding is that this property came up as an opportunity to be a permanent location as opposed to a temporary location as the other property was. So the idea was to utilize this space kind of forever here forward, if we will. And that's really my understanding. We can speak to the owners specifically, but that's my understanding of the move.
Okay, thank you. And judging from a visual, I did visit the 10201 Hawthorne Boulevard site, and it seems to be much smaller, reminding you that it was just a visual. I didn't do any measurement. Is that correct?
I don't recall how large the other one is, but this one's about 3/4 of an acre, so it's a pretty substantial sized property. And I know that the B&H Tow are pretty clever in how they maneuver vehicles around in their property, and we believe that this property will be ample for what we anticipate for business here.
I haven't any other questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Rice.
No questions.
Commissioner Trail.
Yeah, how many cars can fit into this location? And is it
We did
comparable to?
Is it comparable? I'm sorry, I spoke over you there. I apologize.
How many cars can fit at this location? Do you know?
I don't know that we did an actual count. I know that they, in the report, were requesting 21 spaces. I believe we can more than 2.5 times that. I believe we can more than 50 cars, if we got into a pinch, could be placed on that lot with some clever maneuvering, if you will. So I think we can do about 250% of what's required.
So you're saying approximately 50 cars or more can fit on the site?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and can you clarify the comment that you made earlier about the other towing service, that you said is not a towing service? It's more of a car repair, is that what you said?
We were surprised by the staff report to learn that there was another towing license. So we took a look at that towing license, and we understand that it is a what we believe a tow truck service, where a person has a tow truck, a company has a tow truck, and has the ability to tow vehicles, but it is not a tow yard. So it's a tow truck license, but it's not a tow yard license, if that makes sense. So there is a differentiation there between the uses. We're actually a tow yard where we can take vehicles, store them, tow them. When you look at the other business that's 1,250 feet away, it is actually a repair shop. It's a series of buildings. It's a repair shop. It's a used car lot, and it's a service center. And so it's not explicitly a tow yard. It is maybe a tow license, which is required to have to tow vehicles, but it's not a tow yard per se.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Shaw Williams?
Yes, I just have one question. I also visited the site and saw that it was well enclosed with regards to the fencing. My question is, will you still be doing auto repairs as well, or is it strictly just for towing this location?
My understanding is that this location is just for towing. They are not doing repair services necessarily in this location.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, very good. Mike, I have a couple of questions for you. One would be the property that you have over on La Brea and Florence, is that facility owned or is it leased?
Perhaps Rob, the owner, would be best to discuss that property. Could we perhaps have him respond to that? I don't want to misinform you, so I'd prefer him to speak to you in that request.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you well, sir.
Okay, the property on Florence, we do not own. The property on Hawthorne, we do own.
So the property on Hawthorne you own, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And a few minutes ago, he discussed about the property on Hawthorne, the yard next to it, or the towing service next to it, is not a towing service, it's a tow yard? Is that the statement that you had made?
The other tow company that's listed on the staff report, it's actually it's like a used car lot. It's not a tow company. They may own a tow truck to bring in disabled vehicles or whatever they may do there, but they're not a towing facility.
Okay, very good. Thank you, sir. I have a question for staff in regards. What is that service next to what B&W wants to do? What is that service?
Over at that site, they do have a towing license and same license type that they're working on getting here. However, it's outside of the distance requirement. We measure it property line to property line, so they exceed that distance requirement. So even though it is a towing license type, they exceed the requirement for the distance.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I have no other questions. Is there any other questions from our commissioners?
I just have one.
You have a question?
Yes. Ingress and egress. Hawthorne is a very, very busy street. How are you going to tow your cars in and out? I think I may have missed that in the presentation.
Yes, this is Nagy Bakum, the architect again. The primary entrance, apron, and approach is off of 102nd Street, so it is not on Hawthorne Boulevard. The typical pedestrian access would be on Hawthorne Boulevard, meaning the person who is coming to claim their car would ring the bell at Hawthorne Boulevard. They would come into the office, they'd pick up their vehicle, and they would leave through the gate on 102nd Street, and then they would turn right onto Hawthorne Boulevard to the premises. The access is not directly off Hawthorne.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you. If the operator can open up the line, if there's anyone who for or against this particular project, you can speak at this particular point. please give us your name. Anyone for or against this particular project, you have an opportunity to speak at this time if the operator will open up the lines.
Ladies and gentlemen, to add a comment on this topic, press #2. Caller, please go ahead.
My name is Kenneth Miller
Your line is now muted.
with Today newspaper, and I want to say that this is a project that I steadfastly support 110%. I've known the owner of the Savoy and the Wood Barbecue for a number of years. I've known him to be
Excuse me, sir. Hello,
ethical
sir. This is the
and
wrong one.
Also
Hello,
very
sir.
conscious of the
Operator, can you
community
cut him off,
in
please?
terms of the constituency.
Operator, can you let that individual know that he's talking on the wrong topic? We're talking about the towing service on Hawthorne Boulevard. Is there anyone else on the line, operator?
Needs of the constituents. Hello?
The caller, this is the, we're talking about on this particular project, it's on Hawthorne
Yes.
Boulevard. For the towing
I can
service.
reserve my comments for another time if this is the appropriate time.
Fine, thank you. Okay, any final questions?
Your line is now unmuted.
Any other questions from the commissioners? Commissioner Patrick?
No, not yet.
Commissioner Rice? Commissioner Trejo?
None, thank you.
Commissioner Shaw Williams?
None, thank you.
Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion on the floor?
I move that the planning commission recommends to affirm the categorical exemption EA CE 2019091 and adopt the attached resolution approving SP 2020-008 subject to the 18 conditions.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Call for any questions? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Patrick?
Aye.
Commissioner Rice? Aye. Commissioner Trejo? Aye. Commissioner Shaw Williams?
Aye.
Chairman Springs?
Aye. Congratulations on your towing service. Okay.
Thank you so much for your service. We appreciate your approval this evening as well.
Okay, Madam Secretary. I'm sorry. Ms. Wilcox?
Yes, according to the Inglewood Municipal Code, this decision can be appealed within 20 days from the notice of Planning Commission action by filing a written notification to the Planning Division and submitting an appeal fee of $529, at which time the file will be transmitted to the City Council for their consideration.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please.
Item 5B, a public hearing to consider an application by Kevin Brown for special use permit number 2020009, SP 2020-009, to allow exterior alterations to an existing non-residential structure in the medical enterprise overlay zone that exceeds a valuation of $20,000 on an approximately 1.27 acre C2 General Commercial Zone property at 401 South Prairie Avenue.
Chairman Springs and Commission, the file is present and notice has been given in the form and manner as required by law. Staff received no items of correspondence from the public on this item, and Planner Arturo Salazar is present to do a short staff presentation.
Good evening, Chairman Springs and members of the commission. The existing two-story commercial building is located on the southwest corner of Manchester Boulevard and Prairie Avenue. The site is approximately 46,000 square feet and is developed with a commercial office building. The 28,000 square foot commercial building was built in 1984. The subject property is accessed via a two-way driveway from Nutwood Street and Manchester Boulevard. The double driveways lead into a parking lot with 72 parking spaces on the subject site. The Inglewood Municipal Code requires 72 parking spaces for the existing two-story commercial building. There is no driveway access from Prairie Avenue. The applicant is proposing new asphalt paving and restriping of the existing parking lot at the subject site. No change to the existing level of service is anticipated. The renovated 28,000 square foot two-story office building will consist of a 10,000 square foot open floor plan on the first floor that will include a 431 square foot lobby, 2 restrooms, mechanical room, and equipment room. The second floor will consist of 2 restrooms and a 12,700 square foot open floor plan. No tenants have been considered for the two-story commercial building. The ground floor exterior improvements include demo of exterior storefront windows, 5 doors, and the main entrance. The applicant proposes to replace the storefront windows, doors, and main entrance doors with a new aluminum framed glass storefront window system that will be expanded to full height. The existing storefront windows on the second floor will be replaced with a new aluminum framed glass storefront window system. Additionally, the corner windows will be expanded to match the adjacent windows on the second floor. The stucco walls, retaining walls, and brick will be patched, repaired, and painted. The facade of the building will consist of fixed aluminum framed windows, doors, and a new metal panel finish above the main entrance on the second floor. The exterior alterations to the existing commercial building and parking lot improvements will comply with the medical enterprise overlay zone regulations. Currently, the commercial office building has 6 surveillance cameras on the exterior of the building. The applicant is required to install additional surveillance cameras for parking areas and interior of the building, which we monitored in real time for security purposes. The location and number of cameras will be determined during site plan review. Landscape planners will border areas of the building facing the street. Landscaping is provided within the existing parking lot and landscape planner along the street frontage adjacent to the public right-of-way. The planter areas include a variety of ground cover, shrubs, and trees. The applicant is proposing decomposed granite seating areas on the perimeter of the building. The applicant is also proposing a new concrete walkway, ADA accessible pathway, and a new 42-inch railing along the pedestrian walkway of the building. If the Planning Commission approves the request, the applicant will be required to submit plans to the Planning Division for site plan review to ensure that the project is developed in conformance with all applicable provisions of the Inglewood Municipal Code. The proposed project is consistent with the land use element of the Inglewood General Plan. A CADX has been prepared by staff stating that the proposed project is exempt. This concludes staff's presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Thank you, Art. Commissioner Patrick?
Thank you very much. I'm happy to hear about this building. It's long overdue for a facelift. I've been passing there for many years. Is the building completely occupied at this time? It always seems to be not many people there.
Right.
It's fully occupied?
No, not at the time.
It isn't, okay. That's my only question, thank you.
Commissioner Rice?
Thank you, Art. Can you go back to your pictorial, please?
Sure.
Yep, I wanted to see the walkway, the ADA walkway, and I wanted to see where the 42-inch rail was going to go.
So
How
let's
far
go
it
to
went
the-
into the property.
So
Is that it?
right here on the site plan, the 42-inch railing is basically right here where the dash line is, right around that area.
Is that parking space 42? Oh, for that, is that the walkway
That's
there?
the ADA walkway leading to the building.
But you can drive across that, you're not gonna have a railing going all the way to the building where you can't?
No, the ADA walkway that you're seeing adjacent to parking space 42 and 43 does not have a railing.
Okay.
No, that's just striping.
And will this remain an office building, or I think I saw a mention of retail space on the first floor?
Well, as of today, the applicant does not have any tenants in mind, so, but the applicant can answer that question.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Trio,
No, I'll reserve my question.
Commissioner Shaw Williams.
I'll also reserve my questions.
I have no questions, or thank you very much. If the applicant is online, or
Yes.
is the applicant here, please give us your name and tell us about your project.
Yes, thank you. This is
Your line is now muted.
Collective. We are the architects on the project. Kevin Brown, who is the ownership representative, is also on the line if you have any questions for them, as well as our landscape architects who are also on the line. Thank you, Commissioners and Arturo, for that presentation. We're happy to present this exterior renovation for 401 South Prairie. It's one of the most prominent intersections in the city, across from the Forum and the Inglewood Park Cemetery. This project is really a facelift and renovation of the exterior of this building from 1984 in an effort to bring it up to both code for ADA purposes and as well as aesthetically to come more in line with the developments that are coming along Prairie. The office building right now at 28,000 square feet is currently mostly unoccupied, and the owner's wish is to get this exterior ready for a potential future tenant. The hope is that this would be for an office tenant, and that's what we're preparing for currently. The renovation, as Arturo pointed out, is an extensive reworking of the existing landscaping and existing site. In regards to the 42-inch fence, currently there, if you looked at the aerials, Arturo, if you look at the aerial, there is a walkway to the southern portion of the building in which there's an existing metal railway that is deteriorating, and we're replacing that. For the building, we're working to basically try to bring this building up to kind of more contemporary standards. The existing entrance was a little bit hidden in the current configuration. So we've illuminated that by having a metal paneling and changed the color there. Overall is to really bring up this building to a lot of light, a lot of windows on the ground floor, contemporary, and bring this up to contemporary standards. The landscape architects are also on the line. If you have any questions for them, we would be happy to answer. If there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. We want to start
Your
off with,
line is now unmuted.
Commissioner Patrick,
I haven't any questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Rice.
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Trio,
I was just going to ask about the parking lot. Is that going to be like resurfaced or what's the improvement that's going to be done there?
Yes, the applicant is proposing to restripe the whole parking lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that will add to the aesthetic, the new, better improved aesthetic look to the building. Yeah, it does need it, and I'm glad to see that they're doing it. Thank you.
Commissioner Shaw Williams.
Yes, just one question. I'm excited too, with regards to the improvements to this building. I was just curious, will there be other occupants besides medical? Are you looking to have a variety of tenants, or is it just exclusive to medical only?
There is no specific tenant that has actually been identified. They are looking for any number of tenants. Most likely, this is going to be someone that's going to be potentially related to the sports and entertainment industry or potentially a tech company is what the potential hope is. But obviously we're in the medical zone, so that would be a potential tenant, but it's not what is currently thought of as a potential tenant.
Okay, thank you.
I have no questions. Thank you very much. Operator, we're going to open it up for anyone wishing to, for or against this particular project. You can speak at this particular point. Operator, please open up the lines for individuals who are in favor or opposed to this particular project. You can do so at this time.
Your line is now muted.
For this project, press pound 2. Again, to add a comment for this project, press pound 2. Chairman, no comments at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Your line is now unmuted.
Any last comments from the commissioners? Hearing none. Is there a motion on the floor?
I move that we affirm category exemption EACE 2020-47 and adopt the attached resolution approving SP 2020-009, subject to 11 conditions.
It's been properly moved in second. We call for any questions? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Patrick?
Aye.
Commissioner Rice?
Aye.
Commissioner Trejo?
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw Williams?
Aye.
Chairman Springs?
Aye. Okay, sir, you have your project. Thank you very much. Ms. Wilcox?
Yes, Chairman. According to the Inglewood Municipal Code, this decision can be appealed within 20 days from the Notice of Planning Commission action by filing a written notification to the Planning Division and submitting an appeal fee of $529, at which time the file will be transmitted to the City Council for their consideration.
Thank you. All right. Madam Secretary, please.
Item 5C, a public hearing to consider an application by Jonathan DeVoe, owner for a special use permit number 2020-011, SP 2020-11, to allow the sale of distilled spirits within an existing restaurant on a 3,746 square foot HC Historic Core Zone property at 129 North Market Street.
Chairman Springs and Commission, the file is present and notice has been given in the form and manner as required by law. Staff received 4 items of correspondence from the public announced previously, and Planner Bernard McCrumbie is present to do a short staff presentation.
Good evening, Chairman Springs and members of the Commission. The subject site is located at 129 North Market Street and has a land use designation of downtown TOD and is zoned HC. The surrounding properties are also zoned HC and are developed with commercial uses. In 2017, the Planning Commission approved a special use permit that allowed an event center with live entertainment and the sale of beer and wine for on-site consumption within a cafe. The applicant has taken over the space and is currently operating as a sit-down barbecue restaurant. The floor area is comprised of a dining area, 2 restrooms, a kitchen, a wait area, and a storage and food prep area along with the office. If approved, the applicant will apply for a Type 47 license, which is the sale of alcohol for on-site consumption, distilled spirits, with ABC. The applicant is currently not selling any alcoholic beverages at the time. It should also be noted that ABC has indicated that the applicant or the Planning Commission does not have to make any PCN findings in the approval of this particular project. If approved, the applicant proposes to expand their current hours of operation to be Monday through Sunday from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. and will provide a full menu including breakfast, lunch, and dinner service. They will also be providing Sunday brunch from 11 to 2. The primary entrance into this particular restaurant is currently located right off of Market Street, and the property has, as it stands right now, 4 security cameras which are located on the interior and exterior of the building. As mentioned previously, there were 3 letters of in favor of the project, and the proposed project is consistent with the land use element of the general plan downtown TOD designation and is categorically exempt from CEQA. This concludes staff's presentation, and I'm available to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Thank you, Bernard. Going to open up for questions. Commissioner Patrick?
Yes, the owner, will he be on the line or no?
Yes, yes, the owner will be
I'll
online
reserve
available
comment.
for
Thank you.
Commissioner Rice?
I know Mr. DeVoe, however, that's not going to have any impact on my decision today. I have questions with reference to the dance floor entertainment. Is any of that going on?
So the proposed, the way that the current floor plan is laid out, there is no room for any dance floor. There is still the existing 30 square foot stage that was approved under the previous floor plan. And the applicant has stated that if they have any live entertainment, it would be jazz and something of that sort. But there's no proposal for any dancing or anything of that nature.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Trejo?
I'll reserve my comment. Thank you.
Commissioner Shaw Williams?
I'll also reserve my comments.
Okay, I will reserve my comments as well. Thank you very much, Bernard. If the applicant is here, please tell us about your particular project, give us your name, and tell us about your project.
Hi, how you doing?
Your line is now muted.
I'm here with the Wood Barbecue. Greetings, planning commissioners and chairman, Mr. Chairman. We're a sit-down restaurant. We would like to have some entertainment. Like Mr. Bernard said, it would primarily be jazz or a guitarist or something of that sort. It's really not a lot of room to have anything extravagant, but something smooth and nice while you're eating would be what we're aiming for. We're aiming for something nice downtown on Market, like a family-style restaurant that pertains really for professional and mature adults. And that's really what we're trying to do.
Okay, so we have a couple of questions for you.
Your line is now unmuted.
Juneteenth, and we fed over 1,300 people for free for the community also.
Okay, we have questions for you, sir. So we're gonna start our questionings with Commissioner Patrick.
Good afternoon. I didn't get your name, sir. Who's on the line?
My name is Jonathan DeVoe.
Oh, I didn't know that was you. Hi, Mr. DeVoe. How are you? I've met you several times. In any event,
How you doing, ma'am?
I'm great, thank you. Delicious food. I love it. It's wonderful, relaxing ambiance. And unfortunately, when you opened, the pandemic hit. But I was just seeing that you're going to offer, if granted, you're going to serve, your alcohol will be served during the business hours of operation, and you're going to be open Monday through Sunday from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m.? And alcohol will be served all during that time?
Well, we would like to be able to open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Obviously, most people don't really drink alcohol with their breakfast. But it would be nice. It would be nice to be able to serve champagne or a mimosa if that's what somebody wants.
Okay, you've answered it. Thank you very much. I haven't any other questions.
Commissioner Rice?
Mr. DeVoe, with reference to your camera system, I know you said you had 4 inside, which in a place that size it may be sufficient, but can you tell me how many you have on the front of the building and the exterior and rear area of the building?
I think there's a camera in the front, and I think there's a camera in the back. It videos the back, and it videos the front. It's really not a big facility, but we have one of each right now.
Okay, so they don't cross each other. That's what I wanted to find out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Trio?
Mr. DeVoe, good evening.
How you doing, ma'am?
I'm fine, thank you. I had a quick question on the cameras for the outside. You have one in the front and one in the back. How much of the area do the outside cameras cover? I know it's not a big facility. I saw it the other day. It looks nice.
Your line is now muted.
It just covers the back. The back is like an alley, so there's not really a lot in the back. It just covers the alley and the parking lot behind the facility.
So if any activity is taking...
Your line is now unmuted.
So if there's any activity taking place, either in the front or the back, the cameras would catch it?
Yes, ma'am. The cameras they would catch the activity. If it's within the camera angle, it would. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Shaw Williams?
Good evening, Mr. DeVoe. Actually, Commissioner Patrick asked the question I was going to ask you with regards to serving of alcohol. So thank you. My question has been answered.
I have a question in regards to that, Ms. Shaw Williams and Commissioner Patrick. I didn't hear the answer to that question in regards to serving alcohol during business hours. In regards to the discussion, it indicates that the applicant has indicated that the alcohol will be served during business hours, and the business hours, according to what we see here, is from Monday to Sunday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. However, you do indicate that you're going to have a brunch from 11 to 2, and mimosa, I think that's what you said, will be served. I don't know what that is, so please tell me what that is. And I want to ask staff the question as well. When serving alcohol, is there a time that you can begin to serve alcohol?
Typically, for restaurant use, it's limited to their hours of operation.
There's also a time around 1:30, I believe, a.m., 1 o'clock in the morning, I believe, which the state mandates that alcohol is no longer able to be served.
Is there a mandate of when you can start serving alcohol?
Currently, no.
There is not. Okay, very good. Those are my questions.
Hey, Kelly.
Go ahead, sir.
A mimosa is champagne and some type of juice.
Is it champagne?
Normally, champagne.
And orange juice, correct? So is champagne distilled spirits, or is that a wine?
That would be wine.
Okay, I understand the question, sir. My next question, I Googled you, and it indicates that you were a sports bar. It says that, when I Googled it, it says the Wood Sports Bar. Is that that's the name, the Wood Sports Bar, or is just the Wood?
The name was the Wood Urban Kitchen Barbecue. It's taken on different names.
Okay, so it's not a sports bar then?
No, it's a restaurant.
Okay, very good. Okay, sir. Thank you very much. We have no other questions. At this time, we want to open it up. If the operator can open up the lines. If there's anyone for or against this particular project, you can do so at this time. You can speak on this project at this time. Operator, please open up the lines for this project.
Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Keela Nelson.
Your line is now muted.
The Wood Barbecue, they have great food, great customer service. And what I love most about the Wood is that the establishment gives back to the community. They've given back free food, and they offer a safe and positive dining environment.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Next caller, please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Claudine Cooper, and I am in support of this project. Thank you. I love the Wood. I've been there for food. I've brought my children there. We went to the Juneteenth event, but more than that, I just feel like as a resident of the city of Inglewood, I'd love to see the brunch service open up, and I would also like there to be more entertainment for us to enjoy. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Next caller, please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Kenneth Miller. I'm the publisher for Inglewood Today newspaper, and I too am in strong support of the Wood Barbecue establishment having the privilege of serving spirit and wine. I do understand that there's some concern regarding the hours, but from what I have witnessed is that most of the customers are responsible customers. There are a lot of business customers. There's some high-end entrepreneurs. There's some politicians. Local law enforcement is right there nearby. It's a great opportunity for the city of Inglewood to begin the necessary expansion of downtown Los Angeles. And I think this particular establishment offers us that opportunity to evolve into a big field city with sports and entertainment now taking over the city of Inglewood. I think is a great opportunity for the commission to be forethinkers and forward thinkers in a situation like this. And I commend Mr. DeVoe. It was alluded that he did begin this establishment at the crunch of the coronavirus pandemic. And I can tell you that it has been one of the warm and very positive stories during the pandemic, not just because of the establishment itself, but because of the social responsibility that he has to the constituents around there. So I am a steadfast supporter of this project. I don't think there's any worry whatsoever that people will be irresponsibly consuming alcohol at hours that are not consistent with what we look forward to. So I'm in support of this project, and I am hoping that each and every one of the commissioners understand not just the ambiance that this brings to downtown Inglewood, but the economic opportunities and the forward thinking that the city is going to. I think this is an opportunity for us to do something that is revolutionary for the city of Inglewood. Downtown is the one environment that has not received the attention that other parts of Inglewood has received, and I think this has an opportunity to do that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Next caller, please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Dr. Ndidi Uka. I've known Mr. DeVoe for several years now, and I am in support of the Wood restaurant. I've been there several times. I've been there with my kids and with other colleagues. It's a very warm establishment, and I hope that it continues to grow and be a major part of Inglewood, as I was born and currently live in Inglewood, about 2 blocks away. So I enjoyed the place, I enjoyed the establishment, and I hope that it continues to grow and be an important part of Inglewood. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Next caller, please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Steve Gable, and I was calling for support of the Wood. I've given a few events there, fundraisers and a few business events there, and it's been nothing but spectacular. It's well needed in the community. It's, as the other gentleman said, it's forward thinking. The community needs something just like this. Jonathan has been nothing but a class act. He really is very supportive of the community. I've known him 30 plus years, and he's done nothing but be there for the community. So I would really like to see a restaurant like this that's a full service restaurant in the community. I myself, along with all my friends, would come out and support it. And we are recognized in the community, in volume. So we will come out and support him. And we will make sure that there won't be any kind of riffraff or any kind of shenanigans going on, because we want to support him to the fullest. That's what I want to say. Please allow him to be permitted to serve alcohol or some form of alcohol. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Next caller, please go ahead.
Good evening, Chairman Springs, members of the Planning Commission. My name is Halima Ginyard, and I'm the President and CEO of the Inglewood Chamber of Commerce. Tonight, I want to speak on behalf of Jonathan DeVoe and the Wood Urban Kitchen and their positive impact that they're having on the community. I want to applaud the Wood Urban Kitchen on their commitment to #LunchBag, an initiative to provide meals to the Inglewood community. Because of their generous donation, we're able to feed over 500 residents monthly, mostly seniors. I also volunteered with Jonathan DeVoe and the Wood Urban Kitchen on Juneteenth to provide over 1,000 meals to the Inglewood community. I personally witnessed their dedication, their honesty, their love, and commitment to the Inglewood community. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Again, if you have a comment about this project, press #2. Next caller, please go ahead. And there are no more comments on this project at this time.
Chairman,
Your line is now unmuted.
the community room is open, and we would just ask that you call for comments down there, but we understand that no one has been down there, but just in case someone has come in to speak.
If there's anyone in the community room A and you wish to make a comment in regards to the project, which is 5C, and it's about these distilled spirits for the wood, barbecue wood on Market Street. If you wish to make a comment on that particular project, you can do so at this time.
Your line is now muted.
Please go ahead.
Hi, yes, hello. My name is Gail Soldano. I am a resident of Inglewood. I've been living here for about the last 14 years, and I can honestly say that I've been able to patronize the Wood a few times, and I like the ambiance. I love the place. It was very charming, quaint, very intimate setting. I was completely impressed my first time going in because it had a very upscale feel to it. And the service that was provided was extremely courteous, and I just loved the ambiance. What really impressed me was during the Juneteenth that they had offered a food giveaway, and I had some friends that had told me about it. I drove around there at the time. The line was extremely long, but I heard that they had gave away over 1,000 plates of food to feed the neighborhood. I'm impressed on what they're doing with the community. I believe that Inglewood do need something like this offered as far as I'm excited about a brunch place. The barbecue is delicious, and the few times that I have been in there, I can honestly say that it has a mature upscale crowd. Some people seem like they were walking, they were from the neighborhood, and others were just coming in, and this was probably right before the shutdown. And to see that the business is still thriving, giving back, it shows his resilience and his dedication to the community. So I'm definitely for it, and I really do hope that you guys will seriously consider the petition. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Your line is now unmuted.
Is there anyone else?
No more comments at this time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Operator. At this time, we're going to close this segment, and we're going to have any last comments from our commissioners, starting with Commissioner Patrick,
I haven't any other comment, thank you.
Commissioner Rice,
No comments?
Commissioner Trio,
No more comments, thank you.
Commissioner Shaw Williams.
No comments, thank you.
Okay. If there's no other comments, is there a motion on the floor?
Motion. I move that we affirm categorical exemptions, EACE 2020-70, and adopt the attached resolution approving SP 2020-11, subject to the 22 conditions to allow the on-site consumption of distilled spirits within an existing restaurant.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second. We're going to call for any questions. Hearing none, we're going to call for a vote.
Commissioner Patrick?
Aye.
Commissioner Rice?
Aye.
Commissioner Trejo?
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw Williams?
Aye.
Chairman Springs?
Aye. Ms. Wilcox?
Yes, according to the Inglewood Municipal Code, this decision can be appealed within 20 days from the notice of Planning Commission action by filing a written notification to the Planning Division and submitting an appeal fee of $529, at which time the file will be transmitted to the City Council for their consideration.
Okay. All right, Mr. DeVoe, you have your distilled spirits. You know, I'm a good barbecuer myself, so I will be coming by there to get this barbecue, and I'm trusting that it's going to be good. From all the people that made these comments, I'm trusting that this barbecue is going to be good. And I'm an entrepreneur on barbecue.
Excellent.
Okay. Just had to throw that out.
I appreciate it, and everybody's welcome. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome, sir. Okay,
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Madam Secretary, please.
Item 6A, a non-public hearing to consider an application by Joe Gambill, representing Wood Partners, for design review number 2020-004, DR 2020-004, to approve the design proposal for a new 6-story, 144-unit residential building on an approximately 38,750 square foot lot, HZ Historic Core Zone Property at 201 North La Brea Avenue.
The file is present and notice has been given in the form and manner as required by law. Staff received no correspondence on this item, and Assistant Planner Marissa Fuel is present to do a short staff presentation.
Good evening, Chairman Springs and members of the Commission. The subject site for this design review is located at 201 North La Brea Avenue on the southwest corner of Florence Avenue and La Brea Avenue. The zoning for the property is historic core, and it is located within the downtown transit-oriented district land use designation. The subject site is currently developed with a 2-story commercial building and associated parking on an approximately 38,700 square foot lot. The property is bounded by Florence Avenue and the Crenshaw LAX light rail line to the north, Regent Street to the south, La Brea Avenue to the east with a D3 mixed-use site across the street, and Inglewood Courthouse parking to the west. Since the subject site is located within the historic core of the downtown TOD, design review is required for all new development. The applicant is proposing construction of a 6-story residential building with 144 residential units, including 7 affordable units. The development is proposing to contain 58 studio units, 48 one-bedroom units, and 38 two-bedroom units. The residential units range in size from 530 square feet for a studio to approximately 1,100 square feet for a 2-bedroom. The ground level of the development contains parking, approximately 1,900 square feet of residential amenity space, and utility and trash rooms. 2 primary pedestrian entrances for the building are located at the corners of La Brea Avenue and Regent Street, and La Brea Avenue and Florence Avenue. 2 vehicle entrances to the ground level parking will be provided from Florence Avenue to the north and Regent Street to the south. The second level contains residential units, a terrace, and a 5,000 square foot landscaped courtyard with barbecue and fire pit area. The 3rd through 5th floors include residential units, and the 6th floor includes residential units along with an 1,800 square foot roof deck. The architectural style of the development is contemporary and utilizes neutral toned colors of white, grays, and brown. Material selections include stucco, vertical board panels, green screen, and varied garage screening along the ground level. Architectural elements used throughout the development incorporate the TOD design guideline requirements, including shop front and office building frontage types, separate residential entrances, and enclosed loading and trash areas. The HC frontage requirements specify that facades should contain transparent or tinted glass. In order to meet these requirements, the proposed frontage will be required to maintain transparent glass on ground level windows. Staff has determined that the findings required for design review have been met and that the site and proposed design are compatible with the existing uses and buildings along La Brea Avenue, the downtown TOD land use designation, and IMC requirements. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available to answer any questions you might have. The applicant is also on the line tonight to answer any questions for you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Melissa. We're going to open up questions with Commissioner Patrick.
I'll reserve my comments for later.
Commissioner Rice.
Do you have any other openings coming from the parking structure to the street without going down the driveway onto La Brea? If I wanted to walk onto La Brea from the parking structure?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the
If
question.
you wanted to walk onto La Brea from the parking structure, I'm looking at an area behind the lobby off of La Brea and Florence, and it looks like there's an opening that you may be able to walk through to get onto the street. Is that an opening there? It's on your map now also, I can see. Directly behind the lobby there. Behind the north lobby. The south opening.
I'm not sure. I know there's a pedestrian entrance on the corner there. I'm not sure where exactly the door is located on on the screen.
But you think there may be an entrance without going down the driveway, walking to enter the street?
There's no driveway entrance on La Brea. They're all,
But behind the lobby there, that's a door opening or an opening to go into the street?
let me verify that real quick. I'm not reading it as a pedestrian entrance.
The thought is that if someone parks their car and they're not gonna go into the building, but they just wanna leave their car there, is this an opening to come out and go into La Brea?
It appears it is, in particular to provide the handicap access out to get into the structure.
Okay. Maybe the architect is present, we can make sure, okay?
They're on the line.
Okay, the second question, looking through the storefront windows, you said they're gonna be transparent, so when I'm walking down the sidewalk, I'll be able to look into the parking lot for the building.
The garage is screened, not with the windows.
So the windows are just on the lobbies on the north side and the south side? And the garage is screened?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Commissioner Trio?
Yes, I have a question on the parking. I know that there's 144 required, and they're proposing 72 because of the density bonus incentive to provide the 7 affordable units. That's like half of what the requirement is. What's the formula, or is there one, to come up with 72?
You're correct, the applicant is proposing the 72 parking spaces. They are providing 5% of very low-income affordable units, which allows them one density bonus incentive, and they're using their incentive for a parking reduction.
Is there a formula that says if you provide X number of affordable units, then you can reduce your parking by X?
There is not a set formula given by the state. They have suggested formulas, but there's nothing set in stone in terms of the reduction that can be requested.
Is there room for additional parking?
I think the applicant would be better to answer that question.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Shaw Williams?
I'll reserve my questions for the applicant.
Okay, I have no questions, Melissa. If the applicant is here, please give us your name and tell us about your project.
Your line is now muted.
Yes, please go ahead.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Marissa. Hello, council members. Thank you for your time and consideration this evening. My name is Joe Gamble, and I work for Wood Partners. We're a national apartment developer, and we've been retained by the owner of this property, Brasa Capital, to process the entitlements for the apartment community at 201 North La Brea. Brasa Capital is a Los Angeles-based investment firm that has owned property in Inglewood for around 7 years, and they would be the ultimate long-term owner of this project. They own multiple properties in the area, and they're proposing, sorry, some of this is a little redundant, 144 apartments, including 5 set aside at the very low income rent level. So the building that we're proposing is fully compliant with the goals and design standards outlined in the downtown TOD plan. We've also read through the proposed conditions in the staff report and will comply with those as well. The building has been designed thoughtfully with articulation, variations in color, material, and texture. It also contains over 10,000 square feet of amenity space, including a business center, club room, a fitness center, a large landscaped outdoor courtyard with barbecues, fire pits, outdoor play area, and seating. And also, as Marissa mentioned, a very large roof deck that will have great views of the city and the new stadium. So we're excited to present this new apartment building that we think will be an asset to the city and will be a good neighbor to the community. So as Marissa mentioned, we also have the architect, Richard Solares, on the line. If you prefer, I can kind of jump straight into some of these questions if you want me to answer them.
Your line is now unmuted.
Okay, so we have questions for you. We're going to start our questioning off with Commissioner Patrick.
Thank you. Mr. Gamble, have you identified any of the businesses that will be located in the building?
There's no commercial space in the building. It's all residential.
It's all residential. Oh, okay, then you've answered
Yes,
my
ma'am.
question. It was regarding the parking, so I'm sure my colleague will discuss that further. Thank you. I haven't any other questions.
Commissioner Rice.
Yes, sir. I'm going to rephrase the question to you. I'm looking at the lobby on the northeast corner here, northwest corner here. Directly behind there is your ADA parking. There appears to be a walkway or a leading to a exit off onto La Brea. Can you exit a door there?
So currently, Richard's on the line as well, but currently I do not believe there is an exit on La Brea. I believe that's just space for the ADA vans to come. And so as currently designed, you have an exit along Florence from the amenity space, and then along La Brea, kind of at the corner, just the northeast corner, and then also another one at the southeast corner. So it's not currently shown, but if that's desired from the council, I think it's an easy thing to add. Along Florence from the amenity space.
From that ADA ramp there, can I enter the lobby there?
Northeast corner. And
yes. I can enter the lobby, and because I don't see an opening there. But I can enter the lobby, and from the lobby, I can go out to the street. That's what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure you're not taking a wheelchair through the parking lot trying to exit out to get to the street. If you're not going into the building, you just wanted to
No,
get to the
sir.
street. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, it'll go into the lobby.
Okay, Commissioner Trail.
Good evening, Mr. Gamble.
Good evening.
I have questions on the parking. As I'm sure you heard my statement earlier that there's 144 units, 5 of which are low-income units, so that allows you a density bonus that you have elected to use as reducing your parking to half, which is what, 72 that you'll be providing? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, how will you distribute those parking spaces if somebody comes in to rent a studio or a one-bedroom or a two-bedroom? How does that work?
So the parking will be assigned spaces. So we do not have a parking management plan developed yet, but we will before we open. And we think that this is in line with the, I guess, kind of vision of the TOD plan is really, with the people mover being right next to it, going to LAX, the Metro, and the parking districts that understand are in the works with additional garages around the area. We think that this will be enough. And the owner of the project also owns the site right on the other side of the Metro line, also on La Brea. So that has additional parking should we need it for the time being. But we think that long term, with the metro and the parking district established in the city, that'll be appropriate for this number of apartments.
So once you assign the 72 parking spaces that you have, which will probably be taken up before all of the units are rented, and somebody wants to rent something and they say, you know, is parking included, and you don't have any more, what do you tell them?
Well, the parking district, the TOD plan identifies locations for garages that would help alleviate this problem. So I guess part of it we think can be solved through the parking district once it's implemented. And then if we need additional spaces, the owner owns the property on the other side of the metro station, also on La Brea, which we could park additional cars over there if we needed to.
Okay, so there's availability of locations where you can refer your tenants to, is that what you're saying?
Correct, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Shaw Williams?
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Gamble. My question is guest parking, again, the parking concern. With this additional parking lots that you're speaking of, will that be available for the guests who visit this location?
I'd have to speak to the ownership on that. It's a topic that hasn't come up. So potentially, but I mean, I would say guests will probably have to find street parking or in one of the garages that's proposed in the parking district.
Okay, and will there be a property manager that lives on site at this location?
Yes, ma'am, there will be.
Is that a yes? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, yes, ma'am, yes, there will be.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, my questions for you, Mr. Gamble, is I'm sure there's concern about parking. You had indicated that there's another building just south of the proposed building that the owner owns. Is that the statement that I heard?
Yes, it's the property that it's actually north on the other. It's also along La Brea, right on the other side of the metro line, the new metro line.
It's on La Brea?
Oh, yes, sir. It's on La Brea. It's right where.
I see.
Pull up the address.
Okay, so
north La Brea.
Just north of Florence.
225.
Just north of Florence, yes. B&W.
Yes, sir. Right.
I see.
And so that's not part of the proposed project, of this proposed project, but that is an option to where if we get in a position to where, you know, the parking district hasn't been established and we need parking, that is an option because it's the same owner as this property.
Okay, very good. However, my question is this still in regards to parking? If, because these are rentals that we're looking at, am I correct in saying that?
Yes, sir.
These are rentals?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So I want to rent a 2-bedroom because I'm looking at what you have as far as the 2 bedrooms that you have. You have 38 2-bedroom units. So I want to rent me a 2-bedroom unit. And everything has been rented out. You have one last 2-bedroom unit. What is the parking? Do I have to park at the old B&H facility, or are you gonna make provisions for, because I'm renting a 2-bedroom now, are you gonna make provisions for me? How are we gonna do this parking? How are you gonna structure the parking for the tenants compared, for instance, your 2 bedrooms, your 1 bedrooms, and your studios? Are you gonna break them up to say there's so many gonna go to the studios, there's so many gonna go to the 1 bedrooms, et cetera? Is that how you plan on doing that?
It'll be probably the first renters that will get the spaces in the garage that are assigned. And, there's potential for parking across the street on the other property that the owner owns. And then also in the new TOD, there's about 10 or 11 parking garages identified, some existing and some future, that are to also contribute to this. I guess that would be residents to park as well.
As you can see, parking is a premium here in the city of Inglewood, so we just want to make sure that we have adequate parking for everyone. Now, seeing that the owner owns this lot on the other side of Florence, just north of Florence, and as you heard earlier, that this particular B&H is going to be moving away, or is the owner plan on renting that out to someone else? Would that be parking available now that the current tenant now is going to be moving out? Is there any plans to redo that facility for parking? I mean, we're talking about parking, but there's nothing in concrete in regards to that facility just north of Florence. So are you going to put something in writing that we would know about?
I'll have to talk to the owner to give you a definitive answer. So you're going to talk to the owner, and what we want to do is we want to give you an approval, or we want to make a decision on what we want to do here, and now you're going to tell me you're going to talk to the owner? So this decision hasn't been made prior to this?
Chairman, I would just like to note that the item before you tonight is a design review, and therefore parking is not a component of that. It's review of the design of the structure in conformance with the TOD plan. So just keep that in mind as you consider.
No more questions. Okay, we're gonna close this segment. Thank you very much for your answers. I know we're kind of rough on it.
Thank you. No problem.
Okay. Do we open this up for the general public for approval? Mr. Lewis? Yes. We open this up for the general public for? No, this is not. Okay. All right. Okay, at this particular point, is there any final questions for the commissioners? Commissioner Patrick?
I haven't any, thank you.
Commissioner Rice?
No questions.
Commissioner Trio?
No additional questions or
Commissioner-
comments, thank you.
Shaw Williams?
No questions.
Okay, no questions from my honor. Okay.
I did have one question.
Oh, you have a
I did have a question.
Too
This is
late.
a design review, and I understand what's before us at this time, but at some point, as far as the structure is concerned, does it come back before the commission?
It goes through site plan review, so it wouldn't, unless they request something that requires a special use permit or some other planning commission entitlement, it would not. It's just the design review, because it's in the TOD zone.
So the planning department would just give us notification that this is what happened, that you guys decided that it was in the TOD zone and it met the parking requirement.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, since there's no other questions, is there a motion on the floor, please, for the design review?
Begrudgingly, I move that we affirm the categorical exemption EA CE 2020-065 and adopt the attached resolution approving DR 2020-004, subject to 11 conditions and/or add conditions as deemed appropriate.
Is there a second?
Question prior to second?
There's a motion on the floor, so we have to either continue it. If we don't get a second, then it dies for a lack of a second. So there's been a motion on the floor. Mr. Lewis?
Thank you, Chairman. I'm not here to, you run the meeting, you're the chairman. You can certainly, this motion dies, but you can certainly have further discussion and possibly another motion can be raised. If you're trying to get to Commissioner Rice's comment, then perhaps maybe another motion based on his question or answer or comment might, necessitate another motion. But you certainly run the meeting how you want. If I would ask that if there's no motion to approve, that there at least be a motion to deny, so that we have something so that the applicant can appeal it. And if you're going to deny it, you've got to make findings. That's all I would ask.
Okay.
I have a question.
All right, ma'am.
Can
Okay,
I?
so at this particular point, we have a motion on the floor. I don't hear a second. So if you don't hear a second, then it died for
I
lack.
second.
Okay, so now we have a second on the motion. We call for any questions on this particular motion. Please, questions.
Question. I want to make sure I know what I'm voting on, so I want clarity. A design review, I have an entire set of design plans, which includes parking in front of me. So if I'm reviewing it, and if I'm not pleased with the parking portion of the design,
That's a question for you, Ms. Wilcox, I'm sure.
The design review is intended to focus on the exterior of the structure, and the interior floor plans are provided to provide you the context of the exterior of the structure.
So am I clear to understand that you're talking about the design review as far as the facade is concerned, that that's what I'm supposed to be looking at?
In general, yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Mr. Chairman, page 2 of 5, the standards are set out that this commission should be considering when you're looking at this item. The first one says that you can deal with traffic and pedestrian circulation, access. My glasses are to avoid congestion. Number 2, building structure, etc. Number 3, landscaping. Number 4, building elevation. And number 5, exterior lighting, walls, fences, etc. These are the areas that are before the commission with respect to this particular item.
Understood. The only questions that we have, or at least that I have, is that we get a full packet and we're reading the entire packet, and it does talk about parking, and so the questions are coming up in regards to the parking. So we're concerned about the parking. I know what we're reading here, what you just pointed out to us, Mr. Lewis, but we read the entire packet, including what you just indicated. So we're asking questions in regards to parking, which are legitimate questions. So, we've heard our questions. Are there any comments, any other questions in regards to this motion?
I have a question.
Okay.
This has to go to site plan review. Now, site plan, those involved in site plan review have heard our concerns about parking. And I know in the past, concerns are considered when you're doing site plan review. In this case, how would our concerns be handled in site plan review?
When we are reviewing a density bonus project that's requesting a parking reduction, we always look at surrounding conditions and what impact a reduction would have on the surrounding area. And so, because this is a sizable reduction request, your concerns would certainly be part of our review when we're considering the parking reduction.
Taking it further, since a number of us have, or several of us have voiced those concerns, what's the alternative? I mean, there's apparently nowhere else in the building or where parking is. I just think the reduction is, and I'm going to continue with my comments here, I think the reduction is so much that it will affect the, I don't know, the operation of the building. And our concerns are such that if I was myself sitting as a site plan reviewer, that I would want more parking. But then what's the alternative? You reduce the number of units, you make them provide parking somewhere else. I mean, I know that public transit is close by, but to that extent, I think it's really going to impact the way the building is run or the way what tenants will choose.
I think Mr. Jackson has a comment.
Yeah, I see that he does.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to make sure we're clearly understanding what the scope of the Planning Commission's role is. And I think our city attorney made very clear what your scope is. Now, how you feel personally about an issue within the findings or the areas that you have to deal with, you have to navigate through that. Parking is not one of those issues. So it's very clear. You can talk about circulation, you can talk about access, you can talk about all of those issues. And if you feel that may become one of the issues as a result of that, then those can be the basis by which you either approve or deny this particular request. I want to make you aware that that's, of course, always appealable to the city council, and they ultimately, on appeal, would have the determination of whether the project moves forward or not. One other thing I want us to be mindful of, the TOD plan came before this body, the Planning Commission, for review, for approval, and it was very clear within the TOD plan what the purpose of it was, and that was because of transportation networks being provided in the area, there was a reduction in the parking. This goes beyond that. That's when you get into the state statutes with regard to density bonus. We haven't talked about the 7 affordable units that they're going to be providing, which gives them the basis by which they can request this. Now, so you have a difficult determination to make. If you go squarely, because I haven't heard one thing bad about the architecture. So I think everybody's agreeing that's fine. Or the amenities that were provided in it. I think the only thing we're really resting on is the area of parking. So if you do that, to the point of the city attorney, it is important that your findings match what your purview is. So I just want that to be very clear, okay? So is there, and let me say this. There's going to be more projects coming, and we'll talk about this offline, that have heavy density, lower parking requirement because of the TOD, and you're going to be dealing with this issue not just now, but in the future as well. So however you set the stage for this, I just want you to be mindful of your setting a standard by which you're going to be using in the future. So, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Okay, you've heard the comments from Attorney Lewis. You've heard the comments from Mr. Jackson. You've heard the comments from Ms. Wilcox. There is a second. It's been properly moved in second. So at this particular point, if there are no other questions, we need to call for the vote.
There's another question. tandem parking, I understand it was not legal in Inglewood, is it now? Because 10 of those 72 spaces are tandems, so technically we only have 62 and not 72.
Can anyone hear me? This is Joe Gamble. Again.
Yeah, tandem can be allowed for density bonus projects to increase the parking capacity.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so
I can hear you, Joe. I don't think they hear me.
we heard from you, sir. We're voting now, sir, so we don't need to say anything else. Okay. Madam Secretary?
Commissioner Patrick?
Aye.
Commissioner Rice?
Aye.
Commissioner Trejo?
Well, based on what I have to consider in order to make a determination, I'm gonna have to vote aye.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said, based on what the commission has to consider in making a decision, which are those 5 items mentioned by the city attorney, then I have to vote aye.
Commissioner Shaw Williams?
Aye.
Chairman Springs?
Aye. Ms. Wilcox?
Yes, according to the Inglewood Municipal Code, this decision can be appealed by the applicant within 10 days from the notice of Planning Commission action by filing a written notification to the Planning Division and submitting an appeal fee of $370, at which time the file will be transmitted to the City Council for their consideration.
Okay, Mr. Gammon, you have your project. Congratulations on it.
Thank you.
All right, now we want to open it up for anyone who has any comments for the Planning Commission. If the operator can open up any lines or open up their line, and if anyone has any comments they want to address the Planning Commission, you can do so at this particular time.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a comment, press #2 on your telephone keypad. Mr. Chairman, no comments at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to close out our,
And the community room.
oh, if there's anyone in the community room, if you have any comments that you want to address to the Planning Commission, you can do so at this time. Anyone in the community room A that have any comments that they want to address to the Planning Commission, you can do so at this time. You have 2 minutes. Seeing none, hearing none, we're going to close that segment. We're going to open it up for the commissioners' initiatives. We're going to start on the opposite end. We're going to go with Commissioner Shaw Williams. A surprise you did not.
Yes. I just want everyone to enjoy the weekend. However, let's make sure we practice our social distancing and wear your mask and stay safe and stay healthy.
All right, very good. Commissioner Trio?
Ditto on what Commissioner Shaw Williams just said. Enjoy your weekend, long weekend.
That's right. Commissioner Rice?
No initiatives, have a wonderful weekend.
Commissioner Patrick?
If you haven't already done so, please visit the Wood and have some barbecue. Enjoy the weekend, it's Labor Day. Thank you.
Are they doing just outside seating?
Are they doing outside seating at the Wood?
When I wanted, I just always get
You
it
just
to
call
go.
in?
Yeah, I call in. So I'm sure they do. I don't know if they have enough room. I haven't been over there recently.
I see. Well, I don't have any initiatives. I think Mr. Jackson is having a barbecue at his house.
You're the connoisseur. Gotta try a mimosa.
Yes. If there's nothing else,
We stand adjourned.
have a good weekend, safe one.
Safe.
This meeting is adjourned.